Whoopi Goldberg, she can't even speak for herself. But they have these leftists who are producers, assistant producers, directors, whatever they are, and they're putting words in her mouth. They're trying to figure out where she stands, what she thinks. People who watch The View must really be stupid people. I wanted to play this with The View, which we don't often do, because I want to make a very, very important point that I've made elsewhere, I've made here, but is not being said for reasons I don't understand. I want you to listen to this. It's painful, but nonetheless. Go ahead.
You know who did a lot of campaigning over the weekend? First appearing at the Black Conservative Gala.
First of all, she's reading. She can't even speak for herself. Can you tell she's reading? So I don't do this reading stuff. Go ahead.
On Friday night, to brag about why he's so appealing.
You know what this means? You guys know. Production means somebody wrote the script for her, right? She may have reviewed it, but they have these leftists who are producers, assistant producers, directors, whatever they are, and they're putting words in her mouth. They're trying to figure out where she stands, what she thinks, and so she's reading it. She's reading it off the prompter. Go ahead.
To black voters. Take a look.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones. I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time.
By the way, let's stop there. So why did they edit this? Why didn't they say what he said before and what he said later? Did you notice they edited it? Well, why did they do that? Because there was obviously context in terms of sarcasm and a joke that he was making that was, I assure you, inoffensive, but they make him offensive. Now, how can I assure you this? Because I was at CPAC over the weekend, and he's cutting jokes, and he's sarcastic, and he's, you know, he's a little bit Don Rickles, that kind of thing. And they took out of context the things that he said to make him sound like something he's not. And that's what they do. Now, we actually have a candidate with a background of racism and segregation. We actually have a candidate who was anti-black, who not only made friends with, but was mentored by some of the worst racist segregationists in the history of the United States Senate. We actually have a candidate who has said some of the most horrific things about blacks and constantly makes these racist comments, and his name is Joe Biden. But with Trump, they have to edit what he says. So there he is at the Black Conservative Foundation. The people in the audience, overwhelmingly black, they're laughing at what he said, and all you heard was a snippet. You didn't hear what he said before. You didn't hear what he said after. I'm guessing he's telling a joke, a perfectly harmless joke, but they have to turn it into something that it's not. Go ahead.
And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing, but it possibly, I don't know, maybe there's something there. We've all seen the mugshot.
All right, stop. So what is wrong with that? He's saying that perhaps a lot of people can identify with it because you've had, for decades, so-called scholars and leftists on CNN, MSNBC, I'm sure The View, but generally. And they'll produce materials that'll show that blacks, as opposed to all other ethnicities, particularly whites, get tougher sentences for the same crimes and so forth and so on. Much of this has been debunked. But most of it is still in the atmosphere, right? It's still out there. And so he's commenting on it. I've been indicted so many times. I've been treated this way like nobody else. Perhaps that's why a lot of people in the black community can identify with me. Is that such a horrible statement? What is so horrible about that statement? Nothing. Go ahead.
And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population.
So the next night, he continued spewing nonsense when he spoke at right-wing conference CPAC. Watch this.
So now right-wing conference CPAC, it's called the Conservative Political Action Committee. It's not right-wing. And the media have tried to destroy that organization too, that's constant references to Nazis. It's a huge event, 10,000, 15,000 people in a massive hotel. Other people are allowed to walk through the front door of that hotel. You guys have been there, you know that. They can't control who has access to the hotel. What they can control or try to control is who has access to the different rooms that they've rented, to the large rooms that they've rented. But the lobby and the hallways and the escalators, they have no control over whatsoever. So what happens? A few of these sickening POSs come in, try and draw attention to themselves because they know that's what the liberal media will do. NBC News found 3 or 4 of them, spoke to them, going on with their neo-Nazi stuff and so forth. Now Christian nationalism, the left is talking about, which if we have time I'll get to later, and if not I'll get to it at another day, which is another lie. And so they try and create that. So I was there, my wife was there, other family members were there watching Trump's speech that went on for nearly 2 hours. It was hilarious. It was brilliant. Now let's see what they do to that. Go.
Our country is being destroyed, and the only thing standing between you and its obliteration is me. It's your only escape from Joe Biden and his gang's fast track to hell. And in many ways, we're living in hell right now. I stand before you today not only as your past and hopefully future president, but as a proud political dissident. I am a dissident. November 5th will be our new Liberation Day, but for the liars and cheaters and fraudsters and censors and imposters who have commandeered our government, it will be their judgment day.
Now stop. First, there's nothing wrong with that. But you know what he said? He said, they talk about me in retribution. He said, I don't believe in retribution. He said, but if there is retribution, it's going to be our success. We'll show them through our success. And so they play these clips. They have these 5 yentas sitting there, and they're going to comment on the snippets and so forth. It's really a horrendous thing. The people who watch The View must really be stupid people. They must really be stupid people. They have 4 left-wing Democrats, one of whose ancestors owned slaves, the one second from the right. She still believes in reparations, she said. So I've said, who's stopping her? So pay them. Your family did it. My family wasn't even here. Pay what you owe. Reparations. In fact, the whole Democrat Party should do that. Then on the far end, or as they call it, the far right, you have somebody that worked for Trump, took advantage of the position, has become a grifter, has a job on The View, gets paid on The View, wrote a book, I think she did, gets paid for that as a result of her attacks on Trump. Her father, who I know, wants nothing to do with her, wouldn't even go to her wedding. You can get caught up in the politics, you can get caught up in the media, you can get caught up in these social circles. Trust me, it's much easier to be a leftist than it is to be a conservative.
For more, sign up for Levin TV.